ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखं नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीम्। ओम। Page 4, second paragraph, sixth line from the top. तदुक्तं भगवता बादरायेण द्वाविमावथ पन्थानौ यत्र वेदाः प्रतिष्ठिताः प्रवृत्तिलक्षणो धर्मः निवृत्तिश्च प्रकीर्तितः इति. In the last class, we were looking at the word marga in the second verse to the Viveka Chudamani. जंतूनां नरजन्म दुर्लभम अतः पुंस्त्वं ततो विप्रता तस्माद् वैदिक धर्ममार्ग परता विद्वत्वम अस्मात् परम. So in the first two lines, the second line is tasmad vaidika dharma marga parata. Acharya had looked at why Shankaracharya specifically used the words vaidika, vaidika dharma and vaidika dharma marga. We were looking at the word marga because even though dharma is an important purushartha, it ultimately leads to the betterment of humanity and gives humanity the positive, pleasant experience that it craves and helps avoid negative experiences that it wants to avoid. It is not the ultimate purushartha, it is not the ultimate aim for human endeavor. And dharma plays a role in the ultimate achievement of the top purushartha, the greatest purushartha, which is moksha. And to indicate that it has a role as a milestone, that it plays an important role in the path towards moksha, Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada had used the word marga. And in one sentence of the Vyakhya, Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal had conveyed the entire essence of the Vedanta and the entire sadhana marga. What are the steps to be taken in the path towards moksha? He had said dharma is not the direct means to moksha, it is an indirect means. And in order to achieve moksha, one needs to first graduate from sakama karma to nishkama karma and karma yoga. From there, attain chitta shuddhi. From there, attain the vairagyam. Then follow the sannyasa rupa nivritti dharma, the practices of renunciation, which have been outlined in the Veda also. In that sannyasa ashrama, listen to the words of the Guru and the Upanishads. Through that, perform Atma Vichara. From the Atma Vichara, attain Brahma Sakshatkara or direct cognition of Brahman, and through that, one attains moksha. This was the import of the last sentence. Tena Paramapurushartha Sadhani Bhuta Brahma Sakshatkara Sadhana Vedanta Vichara Hetutvena Sannyasa Rupa Nivritti Dharmasya Tat Sadhana Vairagya Hetu Bhuta Chitta Shuddhi Hetutvena Nishkama Karmanusthana Rupa Pravritti Dharmasya Cha Apekshitatvam Natu Sakshan Niratishaya Sukhasadhanatvam Tad Ubhayasyeti Suchitam. He then provides the pramana for that statement by quoting Acharya Badarayana or Vyasa. Taduktam Bhagavata Badarayanena Dvavimavata Panthano Yatra Vedah Pratishtitaha Pravritti Lakshano Dharmaha Nivrittischa Prakirtitaha iti. There are two paths that have been laid out in the Vedas. They are that which is the path of pravritti or towards rituals and actions, and that of nivritti or renunciation of rituals and actions. The pravritti lakshana of dharma is what is followed in the brahmacharya and the grihastha and the nivritti dharmas are followed in the sannyasa ashrama. Moving on, तथा च ब्राह्मणेन उपनयनानन्तरं वेदो नित्यमधीयतां तदुदितं कर्म स्वनुष्ठीयतां तेनेशस्य विधीयताम् अपचितिः काम्ये मतिस्त्यज्यतां पापौघः परिधूयतां भवसुखे दोषोऽनुसन्धीयताम् आत्मेच्छा व्यवसीयतां निजगृहात् तूर्णं विनिर्गम्यतां सङ्गसत्सु विधीयतां भगवतो भक्तिर्दृढाधीयताम् शान्त्यादिः परिचीयताम् दृढतरं कर्माशु संत्यज्यताम्. Now Acharya is quoting the Sopana Panchakam, which was the 5 messages that Shankara Bhagavatpada left his disciples at the end of his avatara. He says that every Brahmana, after having performed his Upanayana, must Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, must every day recite their own Swashakha, their own recension of the Veda, and having recited the Veda on a daily basis, taduditam karma svanushthiyatam, must perform the various karmas that have been prescribed in the Veda in the prescribed manner to the best of their ability. Svanushthiyatam, the su shabda, the prefix there indicates the rituals must be performed yatha vihitam, as prescribed in the Veda. By the performance of those rituals in that manner, one must earn the grace of Ishvara. Teneshitam vidhiyatam. Apachitih kamye matistyajatam. One must give up all thought of enjoying the material benefits of the fruits of those actions. And in doing that, one must elevate what is a kamya karma into karma yoga. Papaugha paridhuyatam. One must also abandon all evils and refrain from all sinful actions. Bhava sukhe doshonusandhiyatam. One must constantly recollect, remember that all the material benefits of samsara are ultimately embedded, tinged with defects. The 3 defects that we spoke about earlier of dukkha mishritatvam, atriptikaratvam, bandhakatvam. All the joys are accompanied by sorrows also. Within every joy is embedded some sorrow. None of the joys of samsara give long lasting, everlasting happiness. And finally, they lead to bondage. So, thus, one must constantly recollect, remember, remind oneself that material benefits and material happiness will not give us long standing happiness or ultimate bliss. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. One must cultivate in oneself the desire to know the self. Because only by realizing the Atma will one break this cycle of births and deaths. And therefore, mumukshutvam, the desire to know the Atma, should be assiduously developed. Nijagrihat turdam vinirgamyatam. Having contemplated upon the defects of the world and cultivating a great dispassion towards them, and at the same time developing a very strong mumukshutvam or a desire to know the self, nijagrihat turdam vinirgamyata. One should quickly complete one's duties of life and leave home and move towards sannyasa ashrama. Sangha satsu vidhiyatam. In sannyasa ashrama, one should resort to a satpurusha as a guru, one who has realized Brahman himself as the guru. Further, Bhagavato Bhaktir Dridadhiyatam. While in sannyasa ashrama and studying the scriptures under a guru, one must cultivate a deep devotion towards Ishvara. Because in sannyasa ashrama, apart from Ishvara, Guru, Shastra, and ultimately Jnana, there is no other support. One has renounced everything and has completely submitted their body and their life to Prarabdha. As Acharya says in the Manisha Panchakam, Prarabdhaya samarpitam swavapuhu. One has essentially given up any sort of welfare or desire to protect one's own body and has simply allowed the body to be at the mercy of the elements. And therefore, the only thing which protects them is Shastra, Guru, and Ishvara. And therefore, one must cultivate a great devotion towards Ishvara. Because that devotion will be a great source of support in sannyasa ashrama. Next, he talks about the Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. Shantyadihi parichiyatam. One must cultivate Shanti, that is Shama, control over the mind, Dama, control over the senses, Uparati, detachment, Titiksha, the ability to endure the vagaries of heat, cold, pain, pleasure, etc. without too much of mental stress. One should be able to accept this and have the forbearance. That is Titiksha. Shraddha, faith in the words of the scriptures and the Guru. And the Guru says, Tat Tvamasi, the ability to accept it at face value, to change one's entire worldview on the basis of what the Shastra and the Guru says, requires a great deal of Shraddha or faith. And finally, Samadhanam or mental equanimity. All these must be cultivated. And finally, Karmashu Santyajyatam. All the binding karmas and rituals must be given up at once. Thus, Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal provides pramana from Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada's own words in the Sopana Panchakam. He says, Iti Sopana Panchakopadishta Ritya Ishwararpana Buddhya Karma Kurvanena Chittam Shodhayatva Vishayebhyo Virajya Karmabhyas Samuparamitavyam Ityetad Bodhitam. As stated in Acharya Sopana Panchakam, or the 5 steps in the ladder of spiritual ascendance, it is taught that one must perform karma with a mental attitude of dedicating the karma to Ishvara, and by doing that, one cleanses one's mind. Chittam Shodhayatva. And by cleansing one's mind, one is able to withdraw from the desires of daily existence. And by withdrawing from those objects that cause desires, one is able to give up all the rituals that are meant to achieve the object of people's desires. Taduktam moksha dharmeshu naitadrisham brahmanasyasti vittam yathaikata samata satyata cha शीलम स्थितिर दंड निधानम आर्जवम ततश्चोपरतिः kriyabhyah iti. As has been said by Bhagavan Vedavyasa in the Moksha Dharma chapter of the Mahabharata, there is no wealth that belongs to the Brahmana apart from Ekata, oneness, Samata, mental equanimity, Satyata, truthfulness, Sheelam, good conduct, Sthitihi, steadfastness, Dandanidhanam, non-violence, Arjavam, straightforwardness, Uparatihi, renunciation, from what? Kriyabhya, from rituals. Thus, as Badarayana said, as Acharya Shankara Bhagavat Pada said, as has been said in the Moksha Dharma of the Mahabharata, there is a path to moksha. It goes via karma, it goes via dharma, but it doesn't stop at dharma, it goes beyond dharma as well. So until now we were looking at Tasmat Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata in the verse. Now we will look at Vidvatvam Asmat Param. Continuing, Vidvatvam Asmat Param. Tatra Pravritti Dharma Vishaye Evam Yojana. Yadeva Vidyaya Karoti Shraddhaya Upanishada Tadeva Viryavattaram Bhavati iti Chandogya Shrutya Kriyamanam Karma Tadangabhuta Mantrartha Jnana Purastaram Kriyate Chet Bhuyase Phalayeti Bodhitam Bhavati. So Acharya takes up the word Vidvatvam for analysis. Vidvatvam means knowledge or understanding. So following the Dharma Marga which has been laid out in the Vedas is good, but greater than that is Vidvatvam or knowledge of what constitutes Dharma, understanding of the rituals, understanding of the mantras. So in the case of Pravritti Dharma, he says Tatra Pravritti Dharma Vishaye Evam Yojana. This is how that must be understood. He quotes a Chandogya mantra in support. Yadeva Vidyaya Karoti Shraddhaya Upanishada Tadeva Viryavattaram Bhavati. This occurs in the first Adhyaya, the first Khanda of the Chandogya Upanishad. wherein the Upanishad says that if any ritual is performed understanding the meaning of the mantra, Vidyaya means with understanding of the meaning, Shraddhaya means with a belief, a firm conviction in the efficacy of the ritual, Upanishada means conjoined with the stated meditation. Every ritual will come along with a meditation as to what should be imagined when the ritual is performed. So, when the ritual is combined with upasana, the meaning of the word Upanishad here is upasana. In this mantra is upasana. So, when the ritual is combined with upasana as prescribed in the Veda, then it has great potency or efficacy. For example, before the start of Gayatri Japam during Sandhya Vandanam, we say the Gayatri Dhyana Shloka, Mukta Vidruma Hemanila Dhavalir Chayir Mukhair, etc. There, it is describing the form of Gayatri Devi, that she has five faces and the color of each face, etc. What are the various weapons or things that she is holding in her hands are. So the idea is that by chanting the Dhyana Shloka, it's not simply to just say some shloka. It is to bring to the mind of the meditator, the one who is worshipping or chanting the Gayatri mantra, what the form of Gayatri Devi is. So that when the mantra is being chanted, one keeps that form in their mind. And by doing that, the power and the efficacy of the Gayatri Mantra chanting increases immeasurably. Similarly, for every ritual, there will be like a dhyana shloka, there will be an upasana. Sometimes they'll say you have to imagine this particular deity in this at this stage. So when that happens, you have to imagine that deity there. And by doing that, the efficacy of the ritual, the potency of that ritual increases manifold. So Acharya quotes this mantra and says, तद् अङ्गभूतमन्त्रार्थज्ञानपुरस्सरं क्रियते चेत् भूयसे फलायेति बोधितं भवति. That is, the Upanishad is saying, the Chandogya Upanishad is saying that if a karma is performed with its auxiliary, and the auxiliary here is the knowledge of the mantrartham, the meaning of the mantra. If it is performed knowing the meaning of the mantra, the results will be significantly greater than the mere rote performing of the ritual itself. Continuing, तदुक्तं तत्रैव भाष्ये दृष्टं हि लोके वणिक्छबरयोः पद्मरागमणिविक्रये वणिजो विज्ञानाधिक्यात् फलाधिक्यम् इति. So, the Bhashya of the Chandogya mantra, written by Adishankara Bhagavad says that it has been observed in the world that when there is a jeweler who assesses the value of a gem, the value that he would place in that gem is going to be significantly larger than somebody who has no idea as to what that stone is worth. So, if a diamond merchant and forest dweller both chance upon a diamond, the diamond merchant will be able to make a huge profit because of his knowledge of what is a diamond, what is the quality of a diamond, and how it differs from other stones. Whereas if the same stone is chanced upon by some forest dwelling tribal, because he lacks the knowledge of gemstones, he may not appreciate its value and not make a profit. Similarly, the one who understands the meaning of the mantras used in the ritual will get a greater benefit, a greater result than someone who just does these rituals without understanding what is being said or what is being done. So that is in the case of pravritti dharma or rituals. Acharya says what vidvatva means in the case of nivritti dharma. He says, nivritti dharma vishaye sanyasya shravanam kuryat iti vidhanat samnyasoktarakalika vedanta vakya shravanajanya paroksha jnanavatvam vidvatvam. In the case of nivritti dharma, that is the dharma of the renunciates or the sannyasis, there is a vidhi which says that one must listen to the scriptures with a view of gaining atma jnana. The shravanam in the shravana manana nididhyasana must be performed after having taken up sannyasa. And therefore, the vidvatvam that is being referred to in the case of nivritti dharma refers to the indirect knowledge of Brahman that one gains, the paroksha jnana. So there are jnana is of two types. One is pratyaksha or direct knowledge, and the other is paroksha or indirect knowledge. So Acharya says, according to the vidhi that Shravanam in the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana sadhana for Atma Jnana, that Shravanam must happen after taking up sannyasa, the formal entering of the Chaturtha Ashrama or the renunciate stage. And therefore, the jnana that is gained uh, having listened to the scriptures is what is being referred to here as Vidvatvam. So, in the case of Nivritti Dharma, the indirect knowledge that one receives upon first hearing the scriptures from the mouth of the Guru is what is being referred to here as Vidvatvam. That is the case of the appropriateness of Vidvatvam in the case of Nivritti Dharma. We saw what Vidvatvam meant in the case of Pravritti Dharma before. Essentially, understanding the meaning of the mantras was what we had said. Mantras used in the ritual. Anyway, continuing, Asmat Param Atma Anatma Vivechanam Idam Grantha Eva Uttaratra Spashtayishyate. तेन मननं युक्तिभिः श्रुतार्थदृढीकरणार्थम् अनुचिन्तनरूपं संशयभावना उक्तं भवति. More important than this or greater than this is Atma Anatma Vivechanam, which is the discrimination between the self, the Atma, and the non-self, the Anatma. This, Acharya says, will be explained more clearly in the course of this work. By the Vivechanam, what is meant is the cogitation or mananam, the reflection on the import of the scriptures, the reflection on the distinction between the self and the non-self. The reason why this reflection is required is because when one hears the words of the Shruti, one has various doubts in terms of, is this really possible? How can you say that the Jiva and the Brahman is the same? How can you say that this world is mithya? How can you say that the person that created this universe is the same as the individual who is suffering from samsara? How is that possible? Now, all of this can be addressed by deeply contemplating upon the meaning of the words of the Upanishad and thinking of various reasons using which such doubts can be addressed. And by doing that, one firms one's conviction in the meaning of what the Shruti is saying. Acharya uses the phrase Shrutartha Dridikaranartham Anuchintana Rupam Samshaya Bhavana Nirasakam Uktam Bhavati. That is, one firms one's conviction of the meaning of the Shruti by deeply reflecting upon what the Shruti is saying and using logical reasoning to overcome these doubts, the purpose of which is to ultimately rest in that knowledge, rest in the knowledge that what is being told by the Shruti is the truth. Because the next step is going to be Svanubhavaha or experience, and that experience is only possible when one has a deep conviction in the meaning of the Shruti. With that, we will pause this talk and we will take up the rest of the commentary in the next talk. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.